I.Eat.Games, yeah.
Hey partners, Mark here, and I thought I would throw together a basics video for the camp because it can be a little confusing. I know I got a little confused when I first got here. It's a little overwhelming. There's a ton of stuff to do. So hopefully this helps some people out. So let's get started. We're going to start over here with Arthur's tent. Now in Arthur's tent we have a trunk down here, and this is where you can change your clothes, and it's important because not only do you want to look cool, you also need to put on the right attire for the temperature. So if you look in the bottom left, you can see which outfits are suitable for hot temperatures or for average temperatures, and that's also important because it affects your health and your stamina. There's also a bed. So this is where we can sleep and bypass the time. We can rest. And there's also some other goodies and knickknacks around here. I don't know if there are going to be trophies and things from the story missions that sort of start collecting. That would be really cool if it does. But don't forget to check back here and look for things. Also, this is where you shave. So if you want to remain clean shaven, you got to do this every once in a while, and people will treat you differently. Now in the back, if you look, you can see the little bullet icon. That is the ammunition. So back here you can refill your ammunition. If you see an exclamation mark, then that means you need to come back over to the ledger, which I'll talk about in a little bit. You can refill supplies like ammunitions and provisionings and tonics, those kinds of things. So this is Dutch's tent. Now, Dutch's tent, there's not a ton of stuff you can do. You can later on upgrade his tent to improve morale and the donation amounts from the various people in the camp. And then later on, you can upgrade it some more, and it actually will turn, like, you can fast travel from a wagon, which is super helpful. But also back here, something really important. You can contribute. You can basically donate food and pelts and jewelry and other things, and that stuff will go towards your upgrades for the camp. So be sure you take things and donate. You can donate money directly or jewelry or stuff like that. And then you have the ledger. So the ledger, that actually does not unlock until you complete Strauss's mission. It is money, lending, and other sends. So once you do that for him, then the ledger will be here and visible, and you can use it. Now, when you do that mission, just be sure that you do just one debt, because he's going to give you like 3 or 4 people to go visit. Just do the closest one, come back, talk to him, and then the ledger will be here in camp for you to use. And the ledger is important because not only can you do some minor upgrades, and you can see who's contributing what, but this is where you can start increasing the amount of tonics and premium liquors that you have. You can see medicine, provisionings, and there's the ammunitions I was talking about. If you go down to the very bottom where it says restock, that is where you're going to spend your money and refill that stuff. So again, if you, on the mini map, if you see a tiny little exclamation mark next to one of these icons, that just means it needs to be restocked. Okay, so let's head over to, gosh, Arthur walks so slowly in camp. He can't really run. Okay, so over here we have health supplies. So health supplies, there's not a lot to it. When you come back here, this is where you can take and grab medicine. And remember, it's basically free. So come back here and restock for stuff. That's what it's there for. And if you need to restock it, head over to the ledger. Next to him, Strauss's wagon, this is the butcher, Pearson. So he does a lot. So you can donate stuff to camp, like food and meat and feathers and fat and other things, and that's going to go directly to the camp and also towards the provisions. But you can also craft upgrades, and this is where you can start upgrading your satchel, lodging, camp tables, all these things. And all this stuff is going to boost morale. It's going to make your camp better. You're going to be able to produce more stuff. So you want to work on that. Back here, near the butcher, this is where the provisions are. So some of the stuff that you dump for donations will show up here, but also you can refill this at the ledger if that exclamation mark is by that icon. And back over here, this is the Grub. This is cool. So over here, you can come here every day and you can get a free meal, get some stew. But also, more importantly, you can get coffee right over here. Pour coffee. So when you get coffee, what's great about it is I think it resupplies like every couple of hours, but it refills your Deadeye, which is super important. The food, that is every 24 hours, I believe. So don't forget, if when you sleep, head over to the Grub and eat some of that food. Over here, we have games. Okay, so yeah, this is just a fun thing to do, but you also get to learn more about the people in your camp. So you get backstories on some of the folks that you play games with. And also, I think it leads to side missions that can be unlocked when you start talking to them and building your relationships. Plus, the games will switch up depending on who's sitting here. And sometimes it's just not available. If you look right now, there's no icon. I can't play any games because Pearson doesn't play games, or at least he's not right now. So it kind of depends on the time of day too, I think. Hey partners, Mark here, and I've had a lot of questions and I've seen a lot of confusion about Preston, the butcher in the base camp. He confused me a lot. He confused my wife, who's playing the game, a lot. They just don't do a good job explaining him, so I'm going to try to do it. Hopefully I get it right. I'll probably make some mistakes, but if I do, don't forget to leave a comment down below for others to see. But let's give it a shot. First thing we need to do is actually talk about the interface. Now, if you look in the upper right-hand corner, we have 3 icons. And these 3 icons represent the medical supplies, the ammunitions, and the provisions. And they represent just how well stocked we are. So a red icon means that it is really low. And a white icon means it's at like 50%, like it's an okay level, and yellow means it's well stocked. Now, before I guess we go any further, I should mention that in order to gain access to all this, you do have to finish the mission Money Lending and Other Sins with Strauss. Once you do that, it unlocks the ledger, and when you have access to the ledger, then you have access to some of these other things over here, like the medical supplies and the ammunition behind Arthur's tent, and then the provisions over here. Yeah, so once you unlock the ledger, which by the way is over here, let me walk over so you can see it. The ledger is right there. So finish that mission, then you'll have access to it, which means then you'll have access to upgrades to the camp as well. Now, why would you want to do all this? Why do you want to donate stuff to Pearson? Well, the reason why you want to donate is so you bring morale up, and morale is important because when everybody is happy, they begin to donate to the camp, to the Tithe as well. The Tithe is the donation box over here by the ledger. And so when they're donating more, that means everybody's getting more supplies, and then that means you get extra stuff over in the medical center. So you will get extra stuff over here, you'll get extra ammo in the ammo area, and you'll get extra food in the provisions. So it's just a boon to the whole camp if you're donating stuff to Preston. Oh, also one more thing. Let's talk about, let me finish up with the interface up top. So we have the 3 icons, I talked about that, but below there's money. There's 2 different money pools. And the first one you could see up top, 46 cents. That is actually the pool of money for the entire camp. It's pretty low for me just because I just spent a ton of money unlocking the leatherworking tools, which I'm going to talk about a little bit later. And then you could see below that, below the briefcase, is a wallet, and that is my money. I have $36.93. So anyway, okay, let's get started here with Pearson. So if you look at the bottom right, it says donate and crafting upgrades. So let's press right on the D-pad and hold it in, and that will bring up the menu. Now, it's important to note, if you have stuff on your horse, you don't need to bring it into camp to Pearson at all. You don't have to do that. Just leave it on the horse, walk over here, and in the menu here, if you press R1 or the right bumper, you could cycle through the different sections of the satchel. At the very second to last, there is horse cargo, and you will see your pelts, and you will see any of the carcasses you have for the animals. So don't bring them in here and try and dump them on the table or anything. Leave them on your horse. It's easier this way. So yeah, you can donate stuff. I have some pelts on my horse, but you can also just come over to recent, and it also have like the meats, or even if you do have a carcass, it should be in here too. But if you can't find it, then check over here under the horse cargo. I'm going to highlight a couple things, and if you look in the bottom right, it says donate for provisions, donate for funds. So what that means is, if you're going to donate for provisions, that means you're going to give him some meat, and it's going to donate to the provisions in the upper right hand corner. You can see my icon is red right now. So if I start donating meat, that should go away. And if it feels like you're donating a lot, it does take a lot for that to eventually go away. And if you have a ton of meat from like a carcass, it's obviously going to affect that more. Let's keep looking in the bottom right-hand corner, and you donate for funds. So if you look at the bottom left, now there's a value for $2.50. Okay, so right here, if you look in the bottom right-hand corner, it says donate for crafting. Let me back out of this menu. Now, if you look in the bottom right-hand corner, it says crafting upgrades. So I'm going to press triangle, or it'd be Y on the Xbox. So this is where you can upgrade like the satchel. And you need perfect pelts for the satchel. You see, I need 3 different types of pelts. But let me show you something else. So I just showed you those horns. So if I go to Scout Campfire, come down here to Hanging Bones, I have 1 buck antler in my inventory. But if you read down at the very bottom left, it says Pearson does not have all the ingredients. So in order to craft this stuff, you actually have to donate the item to the camp. So for instance, the buck antler is here. So let's go ahead and donate it. Now, press triangle, we're going to go back, and now we're going to try and see if we can craft it. Hanging Bones, there it is. Pearson has enough ingredients to craft. So you can't craft any of this stuff if it's in your inventory. You have to donate this stuff to the camp first, or to Pearson, however you want to look at it. So now that I have it, let's go ahead and craft it. And there it is. Also, pelts. You can donate pelts to Pearson as well, but it's basically for cash value. So look, if you look at my pelts here, you can see the value down there is it's 69 cents. There's another way to donate pelts or affect them, but you have to find a trapper, and that's a whole different guide and video. So I don't know enough about it to talk about it here in this video, but I just know that there is another way to unlock outfits and stuff with pelts. But you can't take your pelts to like a general goods store, because they're not interested in anything bloody or with holes in it like that. But you can take them here to Pearson. So if you see donate for fun, so I'm going to go ahead and sell that, and there it goes. So let's talk about the leatherworking tools. So the reason why I have so little money is just because I recently bought them. And you need the leatherworking tools in order to upgrade the stuff in your camp. So come over to the ledger here. And here you can see the activity for people in the camp, including me. You can see that I put a bunch of stuff in there. But you can see in the top right page, bought leather tools, $225. Yeah, it's really expensive. But here's the thing. I didn't have enough money in my wallet for it, but you can dip into the camp funds in order to buy it. So that's why the camp funds are so low right now, because I used a bunch of it to purchase the leatherworking tools. And then when you purchase the leatherworking tools, then you can come over here and it unlocks all the upgrade stuff from Pearson. Let's go into the crafting menu. So this stuff will all be locked like this. All of this will be locked unless you get the leatherworking tools. All right, guys, I hope this helps. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It does help me out quite a bit. If there's something was missing in this video, feel free to comment below. And thanks for checking out my guide.